Welcome to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. And I'm super excited to be here on this beautiful, Friday morning because we have a lot to be talking about, all right? And I know it's just Friday, and I know, a lot of us are excited for Fridays because it's a Friday. Well, wouldn't you be excited for a Friday? You know what I mean? Because actually tonight, if you think about it, is technically the weekend. Friday night is like a weekend, right? So obviously, we're all excited about the weekend. We're all like excited about how we're going to be spending our weekend because for me, when I think of the weekend, the first thing that comes to my mind is obviously the singer. But also, when I think of the weekend, I remember all the rest I'm going to get, how much I'm going to sleep, get all of that sleep that I didn't really get the past few months, all right, or not really months, but the past few days, all right. So obviously that is what I am excited about, and I want to make sure that you are always informed and updated about everything going on in the world, and that's why you're tuned into the sunrise, all right. You're tuned into the sunrise because I'm here to keep you company. I'm here to make sure that you're always updated about not just anything that happens here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the entire world as well. So make sure you stay tuned and make sure you don't go anywhere because, like I said, I have a lot to be telling you about. All right. Now, before we actually, go ahead with our show, I want to very quickly remind you that you can in fact be a part of the show. All you need to do is just text me on 078 52473 share your thoughts with me, share your opinions with me. Let me know whatever it is that you want to know. Let me know what you're thinking and let me know how you feel today on this beautiful day, but also about whatever we are going to be talking about. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. All right, do get in touch with me and do share your thoughts and opinions. And having said that, let's actually very quickly, I want to remind you that you can go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. That way, you can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about everything that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the entire world. And make sure to download the app, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store as well. That way, you can actually make sure that you're always informed and that you are always updated about everything that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the entire world as well. All right. So don't forget to do that. Don't forget to, share your thoughts and your opinions with me because, like I said, this place is for your discussion, right? This place is to make sure that you're updated and you're informed about everything. So don't forget to do that. However, now, I want to talk about, the traffic light system that is currently in place with regard to traveling, right? With regard to traveling all over the world, right? And the reason I want to talk about it, obviously, is because it is complex, right? And when I say complex, I'm not even like over, or rather, I'm not even exaggerating it. It's just gotten so complicated, like unnecessarily complicated, if you know what I mean, right? And the reason I want to make sure you understand all of this is because recently there has been a lot of changes that have been discussed among, ministers in terms of changing the traffic light system, right? So what exactly do you think changed? What do you think that this change will bring about? Right now, when I said red, amber, and green, you're probably thinking of the traffic lights, or you're probably thinking of like the rainbow or something, but the thing is, it wasn't any of that. Yes, it was the traffic light system, though. However, it was the traffic light travel system because that's what we are talking about. Now, these colors are the colors in which countries are categorized based on how safe it is for you to go to those countries. Now, for example, if you're going to say you want to go to a country that is considered in the green zone, what that essentially means is that that country is dealing with COVID-19 quite well, right? So that's why it's put into the green zone. Now, these past few months, these past few days, there were so many changes that happened, so many changes that took place with regard to the with regard to these traffic, the traffic light travel system, and there was something called the green watch list as well. And these things were actually really confusing, all right. And that is why now the transport secretary has actually promised that there will be no more changes to the green, amber, or even red list for the rest of August, right? Which means that this will actually give holidaymakers much more certainty with regard to whatever it is that they are going to do, if they're going to travel to countries, or even in terms of tour operators and whatnot. The fact that we're constantly change in this. The fact that ministers are constantly changing this must have meant them having to go back and forth with regard to certain decisions they've made as well. So now we're taking away all of that because they have said that they won't keep changing anything anymore, that they won't make any more changes, and that it will be these changes that they've made now will be there for the rest of August. So hopefully they stick to their word and they actually do what they're saying. But however, right now, that is what is happening. Okay, now I want to very quickly tell you a little bit about these travel restrictions that were eased on or rather last Monday, meaning just a few days back, right? Which was basically when people from all of these nations in the green, red and amber zones, not red rather, but green and amber zones, could actually come to the United Kingdom if they were from the EU or the US and they were fully vaccinated, right? Which meant that they could come without actually having to quarantine. All right, so that is what that was like the most recent thing. But obviously, there were some changes that were announced on Wednesday as well. So if you want to know more about these changes, if you actually want to make sure you're informed and updated about these changes, make sure you stay tuned to Relax Radio to the Sunrise with me, Sarah, because I will be here to actually make sure that you are aware and you're informed about everything that happens, not just in the UK but in fact all over the world as well. So until then, make sure you stay tuned because we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to keep talking more about this. So until then, make sure you stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and I'm super excited to be here on this beautiful Friday morning because it's Friday and it's something that we're all excited about. All right, Friday is the day we all look forward to. The moment the week starts, the first thing you tell yourself is, okay, you know what? Friday is just 4 days away, right? So Friday is something that we're all excited about, something that we all look forward to because we want to, go get that rest that we really need, go get that rest that we really deserve. So that's what Fridays are all about. However, right now we're not talking about Fridays, but we're talking about the traffic light travel system that is currently in place here in the United Kingdom. All right. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is because recently it has been criticized for how complicated it is, for all of the changes that they've had to make in the traffic light system. So because of that, there is a lot that we need to discuss. However, before we continue the conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can in fact be a part of the show. All you need to do is just text me on 078 and get in touch with me. All right, share your thoughts with me, share your opinions, your ideas with me, because I want to know what you're thinking thinking. I want to know what you are feeling as well. So don't forget to share your thoughts and your opinions with me, because I can share it with everyone else who is listening in as well. All right. Now, something else that you can do is actually to go follow us on our socials. You can actually like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And then make sure that you're always informed and updated with the latest content, with the latest in the world here in the United Kingdom, right? In the world and all over the world and in the United Kingdom. All right. Now, don't forget to download our app either, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually listen in from anywhere in the world and make sure that you're always informed and you're a part of this conversation as and when it happens. All right. And honestly, I don't think it can get any better than that. So don't forget to stay tuned. Don't forget to share your thoughts and opinions with me, because I would love to know whatever it is that you have to say. All right. Now let's actually very quickly talk about the traffic light system and why it has been criticized for being overcomplicated. Now, like I said, you have the green, amber, and the red list, right? And these actually rank countries based on their COVID outbreaks, right? And these countries also have different rules for quarantining, and basically, depending on how exactly the country is dealing with the situation, that is how you categorize them. All right. So, for example, if you're in the green zone, what that means, if you belong to the green list of countries, it means that you're dealing with the pandemic quite well, right? Which means that it's quite safe for people to travel back and forth between between countries that are in the green zone, and that it will actually make sure that they're much safe and much more protected than they would be if they travel to another country. All right. So that is what that means. And then you have, the reason that it was actually considered complicated was because you had these countries that were in the green list and you had countries in the amber and the red list. However, within those lists, there were other lists, right? So, for example, in the green list, you essentially had other countries, or you had another list that was referred to. So essentially, in the green list, you basically had other lists, right? And one of those lists that were there, and I will just give you an example, is in the green list, you had another list called the green watch list. And what that essentially meant was that while you're monitoring countries within the green zone, you're also monitoring countries that are at the risk of moving to the amber zone. And this is essentially what was under the green watch list, right? So obviously, in instances like that, these things actually got very, very complicated, and you'd constantly have so many different lists under the main list. Right now, another example of this is you have the amber list, then you have the amber plus list, and then you have the amber watch list, where you basically have countries that are at the risk of moving towards the red list, right? So it was honestly very confusing, and because these countries were constantly being reviewed, it meant that these changes would happen, quite often, right? So it was very hard for these tour operators, for travelers, for tourists to actually keep in track with that. And they started criticizing the government with regard to these lists that they had put out. All right. So that is why it was criticized based on how, based on how complicated it is. Now, like I said, again, there are these three lists, the green, amber, and the red list, where you rank countries based on their COVID outbreaks. Right now, in the green list, it's quite easy to return from those countries, whereas in the red list, those destinations require hotel quarantine at a considerable cost, and even on return. Okay. Now, something else is these modifications they've made. They have also been criticized. They have also caused criticism because of those lists within lists within lists that are quite endless and quite unnecessarily complicated. Right now, something else you need to keep in mind is that a further tweak or a further modification actually means that fully vaccinated people are in fact allowed to travel back and forth or arrive, or they're allowed to arrive from an amber list country without actually quarantining, as if it were a green list country. All right, which again has caused some concern because it is in the amber list for for a reason. All right, so that is what it is. Now make sure you stay tuned, because like I said, we have a lot to be talking about, but obviously right now we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to keep talking more about this. So until then, make sure you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for?